it's Rebecca, and apologies for not being around for a while. I've been on holiday to sunny Menorca and I just got back a few days ago, so I've just been unwinding and unpacking and resting. Why is it that you always need a rest after you've come back from a holiday? Surely you should be relaxed. Anyway, so I've just been getting myself all sorted, but today is another book review day and this is my pick a number, any number, book for the 2015 reading challenge. I will put a little link down below in the description box to explain what the challenge is about, but basically it's to read 52 books over a year, with each book coming from a different category. So the book that I've been reading this week comes from the category of a funny book, and I have been reading The Moaning of Life by Karl Pilkington. So I will read you the blurb and then talk to you about the book. Left to his own devices, Karl Pilkington would be happy with his life just as it is. But now he's hit 40, everyone keeps asking him why he's so reluctant to marry his girlfriend and why he doesn't want to have kids. It's time for Karl to face up to the biggest question of the lot. What does it all mean? Karl thought he'd seen it all filming An Idiot Abroad, but now he's off around the globe to learn how other cultures deal with life's big issues. So, if you don't know who Karl Pilkington is, he is a friend of Stephen Merchant and Ricky Gervais. And although I don't really know much about these three, I do know that they kind of produce and put together TV programmes and bits and pieces. And I have never, ever seen anything with Karl Pilkington in. So I've never seen The Moaning of Life, I've never seen An Idiot Abroad. I think I will watch them now after having read this. Basically, Stephen Merchant and Ricky Gervais, I think that this poor guy is a bit of an idiot. And they put him in situations where he normally wouldn't be, and they film it, and they just gauge his reactions, and from what I've read here, I can imagine it being really, really funny. This guy is a very straightforward guy, and I like people like that. I like people who are uncomplicated, who say what they think, say what they feel, and they don't care what other people think of that. So this guy, Karl Pilkington, like it says in the blurb, he's hit 40 and people are asking him about the big questions in life. Why isn't he getting married? Why doesn't he have children? And he's a bit like me in the respect that you just don't need to. Why do you need to get married? If you're happy with your partner just the way you are, why do you need to? Why do you need to have kids? There's loads of kids in the world. If you don't like children, why have them? It's almost as though society has dictated that there are certain milestones that we have to hit in our lives at certain times. And if you don't do it, there's something a bit strange. As a woman, why haven't you got children? I don't like them. The idea of being pregnant is something that really doesn't appeal to me at all. Sorry if I go against the norms of society, but that's just me. And Karl, although not speaking about getting pregnant, it's kind of the same. So this book just goes through some of the biggest things that life throws at you. So it's divided up into chapters. There's marriage, kids, vocation and jobs, happiness and death. And Karl goes all around the world visiting different people with different traditions and different ways of life, and just responds in his matter-of-fact, honest, no-holds-barred kind of way. He starts off going to Las Vegas, where they have drive-through weddings, which I think are brilliant. If I ever was to get married, I'd do it there. Get in a car, drive up to a window, sign your certificate, sign your bit of paper, drive off. Done. Job done. How much is that going to cost you? I know a holiday to Las Vegas is going to be expensive, but that's an experience in itself. And he quite agrees with that, because he doesn't understand the point of huge weddings. They don't symbolise a marriage. They don't symbolise love. It's just a big party. And I think because he's just so straightforward and honest about it, I really can see what he's saying. He then travels to India, where a wedding can take days and days and days with lots of different ceremonies and preparations and, oh my goodness, loads and loads of different bits and pieces that precede the actual wedding ceremony. So that's quite interesting to read about. And why this is funny is because he sees all these amazing, fantastic, wonderful things, and all he cares about is going home to Suzanne, his girlfriend, having a Twix and having a cup of tea. And I think that is brilliant. I think there are so many things in this world, and I'm not criticising anybody who is, who goes on the search for happiness or for the search of love, each to their own. We can all do what we want, that's fine. But for somebody to say they are honestly, truly happy, sitting at home with their girlfriend, having a bar of chocolate and drinking a cup of tea, and I think, what else could you want? You're so content with what you have. There's no need for anything more. And there's a little bit in here where I think it's somewhere in Africa. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I did read this a while ago, but I've only just got back off holiday. And he visits a guy who is so rich, just so super, super rich, has millions of cars and has a huge house, and all he does all day is sit around in his swimming pool with loads of scantily clad women. And he takes Karl to these VIP parties, and Karl just can't understand why this can provide happiness. And at one of these VIP parties, a lady is laying naked on a table, covered in sushi. And the guy says to Karl, go on, eat some sushi off her. And he was like, nah, I don't really want to. He was like, but you have to. And Karl was like, well, no, I don't have to. But this is what money can buy you. And this is, all the amazing things that there are in the world. And you can have all of this if you've got money. And Karl just said, I don't want to eat bits of fish off a random woman. And the rich guy was really offended that Karl would not do this, as though having money meant that you had to be extravagant and you had to do stupid things. Like, what's wrong with a plate? Give me a plate of food. Don't give me a woman of food. And there's a point where the woman's laying there, still covered in all this sushi, and Karl's just talking to her as if he was sitting across the table from her and she was fully dressed, and he was just having a chat about her job and if she liked it and, what other things she was interested in. And it's just so honest and so uncomplicated, and that's why it's so funny, because he just says what he thinks when he thinks it. There's no censor, there's no, oh, should I be saying this? Because everything that's slightly different from our world, we're going to find a bit odd and a bit weird, and we're going to question and be like, well, why are you doing that? What is so great about that compared to this? And in the search for happiness, he finds a group of people who find happiness through pain. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, and it's something that really turns my stomach, and I can't understand why people do it. But they put holes in their back, and then they have hooks put through the holes, and they hang up. And he goes to a party where people are doing this as though the ultimate pleasure comes through pushing through all this pain. And another funny image, and it's just the way he says it or writes it, and I can just hear his voice. He sees a man with a flesh tunnel, a thing in their ear like this, but a huge one. And he's curious about what it looks like if you take the the earring part out, and he doesn't know how to go up to this guy to ask him to take it out. And he compares it to asking an old woman to take her false teeth out to see whether or not her head caves in. Okay, I have a very strange sense of humour, but that image is just brilliant. I just absolutely I love his comparison. I love his way with words. I love, like I say, just how he says what people are thinking but are a little bit too afraid to say. And he's not being insulting. He's not being rude. it's almost like a curious child, you know, why is that like that? What happens if I touch this? You know, and that's why I think this is brilliant. It's brilliantly funny. It's very easy to read because it just takes you through so quickly all these different experiences, all these different people that he meets. And it is certainly something that will make you smile and also educate you. He has these little snippets throughout that he calls Karl's Facts. And they're quite interesting, actually. Just little bits of information about various things to do with either the people that he's met, the countries that he's in, or the topics that he's researching. So yeah, I'm probably going to read this again, actually. It's very rare that I want to read a book twice. I have done, but that I really, really want to. I want to kind of go back and reread it and even watch the programme just to see what he sees. But I really enjoyed this and it really, really did make me laugh. So yeah, so I really would recommend this book. Give it a go. Like I say, it'll only take you a short while to read. It's very, very easy to read and very funny. So if you would like to hear any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every time I've read a book. I also do shameless self-promotion and talk about my own writing and give writing advice. So if you're interested in reading and or writing, then please subscribe to my channel and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.